terrible, but during this season, I have a line like, please don't cross this, but they forget a lot of times and come like an inch from my face. They're like, I just threw up. I'm like, awesome.
Yep.
Can't wait to feel that later.
Right.
All right. I'm going to start. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Cottonwood Day School representatives. We have Amy Wood, executive director, and we have Meredith Scully, the founder. Cottonwood Day School is a school of Bozeman, private nonprofit school serving grades 1 through 12, and it's dedicated to helping students with learning challenges. The first and only school of its kind in Montana. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
Welcome. Yeah, and you're on Cottonwood between 19th and Anderson, yeah?
Correct. Yes. Okay. Right next to the fire station, which is very convenient.
Oh, yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. We've banned popcorn at our school. Sets off the fire alarm quite a bit.
I will start by thanking you both for being a part of the solution when it comes to education in Montana. How did this all start?
Well, it's not a funny story, but how Amy and I met and came to work together is a funny story. But my husband and I moved here. We are from Westchester County in New York, and we moved here about 14 years ago. And my background is special ed and social work, so that's what I did back east. And I was a SPED teacher there in the public schools, which were more like private schools, so very different. When we got here, I wanted to go back to work, but I knew I did not want to work in a rural public school as a special educator. I had enough experience to know that probably wouldn't be something that would give me a lot of that it would just be a challenge because of some of the things that unfortunately
there's not a support system.
Our public education system is not fair. And so I knew that, and so I looked for private schools to teach in, and discovered that there weren't any in our community. Then I kind of branched out a bit and discovered there weren't any in our state. And so I had a crazy idea. My husband and I went out to dinner one night. I said, I think I want to start a school. And he's like, you should go for it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. And so with his support, I kind of started doing a lot of research on programming, the building, curriculum, obviously. Spent a lot of time on what didn't work in my experiences as a teacher, and what if I had the dream opportunity, what that would look like as both like a teacher and an administrator, and from the perspective of a student too. And then I started looking for someone who was as crazy as I was to join me in this. And Amy and I we met in the library outside the bathrooms one day because we had reserved a conference room in the library to talk about the program, to see if I was trying to pitch her, this program. Mm-hmm. I think one of her good friends saw the ad for the job in the paper and said, this would be a really good fit for you. And we clicked. We were instantly connected, I think, at least on my side. Mm-hmm. And so we, started this adventure together. I found a building, and I think, Amy, how long did it take us to really open? Almost a year, right? Or
well, I think that you founded it in 2014, like in December, I think is what our document says. And then we actually opened our doors to start the school year in 2015. We got our first students in October, so we did a lot of groundwork before that. And we had actually 2 students start. We did. And we were like, oh no, are we really crazy? And
it's all teacher work days.
Yeah, totally. Right. Totally professional development work days. We got our first 2 students in October, and then we got 2 more in January, and then we got a 3rd one in April, actually. And we started the year with none and ended the first year with 5. 2 of those students actually are still with us and helped us to recognize the dream of a high school. So we started that a couple years ago, and they will be our first graduating class.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I am a public school teacher. What are some programs and techniques that set Cottonwood Day School apart from public schools? I know that you guys have different levels of learning.
Right.
There's quite a few things actually that are different. One thing is we don't work at grade levels. We just don't have grade levels. We work with each individual student at their level. So we have curriculums for grades 1 through 12. And all of our students just are working at whatever academic level that they need to. Our goal is to continue to build those foundational skills so that they can move forward at their pace. So we have some students who, maybe are 12 or 13, but working on a second or third grade curriculum. And so just really helping them to get where they need to be at their own level. Another thing that we have that's unique is our class sizes are super small. There's no more than 8 students per class, and each teacher has an instructional aide. So really it's kind of a 1-to-4 ratio. So that's another component of our program that's a little bit more unique. And we have a lot of multi-sensory approaches to all of our education so that our students are learning in a very non-traditional way.
What does that mean? Tell me what multi-sensory means in terms of education.
Meredith, you want to answer that one?
And multi-sensory approaches, some of us are visual learners, some of us are auditory learners, and it's really just an approach that tries to, or that does incorporate all of the different learning styles that exist, and we do a lot of preparation and assessment to identify student strengths, and then we teach to those strengths. So if we have a visual learner, then we give them a lot of the curriculum and instruction, and we provide it visually. If it's an auditory piece, then they're getting more of that. And the building we started in was an old Quonset hut on Cottonwood. And then we were fortunate enough to design and build a new structure, and a big part of our program success is the actual environment in which the students are learning. We were able to really spend time researching different ways to design space so that we can control a lot of those sensory things that you can't control in a typical concrete block school.
Can I share this one? One of my most favorite things in the whole school, and I just remember this moment so vividly, walking in on the first day that we actually started in the new school. I remember my son was sick, and so I ended up spending the morning with him, and it was the day that we came back from holiday break in January, and I walked in and it was lunch, and I couldn't hear the students. We have more of them now, so you can hear them now, but when you walk into our cafeteria space, it is the way that they design the arch of the roof, and there are sound panels that are all along the roof, as well as we have a cool honeycomb looking kind of sound panels that are aligned along the wall too. And so it is one of the most quiet cafeterias, or just big spaces. And it's wonderful. We also, just to add to that, if it's too overwhelming for them in there, then we also have noise canceling headphones and private spaces. So if they just need a break, they can just go eat lunch by themselves if they need to or whatever. But that is, I think, one of the most awesome features that we did put in there. And it's amazing.
It's helpful.
I have a handful. There's some teachers out there that might appreciate having that access.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I have a handful of students that come and eat in my classroom from time to time, actually quite often, because the lunchroom is so loud, and I know them to be kids that have some sensory issues. So yeah, I think that that's important to have that space for kids when they need, because it can be super overwhelming for them to have
it's overwhelming for me, and I
know, me too.
I never realized how many maybe sensory issues I had until I started recognizing some of the different challenges that our students have. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a real thing. I get that, So,
yeah.
so that's my favorite.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank
what about
you.
you, Meredith?
I think that's perfect.
We really looked at three big areas when it came to the design. We looked at the sound attenuation that Amy just was talking about, not only in the bigger spaces, but in the classroom as well. We looked at lighting. And then we also looked at the paint colors that we used. And there's a lot of research on paint colors and what colors, are stimulating and what colors can be very calming or triggering. So all of our classrooms each have like an area, we call them nooks, right outside the classroom, that has sound attenuation, bookshelves, some sort of comfy seating, and dimmable lights. So if they need to take a break, they can walk and sit and do that. Each classroom, we put the windows above, like at head level versus down lower, so there's less distractions coming in. It also helps control the light coming into the classroom. We have lighting that we don't have, the artificial lighting that we typically might have in a regular school. And we have the
LEDs.
and then and those are all dimmable as well. So and so we paid really close attention to that. Another really cool feature, which I wanted to incorporate more, but it's just too expensive, was creating curves in the walls. And I read this really cool article about this school in Asia somewhere that was specifically built for kiddos on the spectrum, and it's based on a lot of the research that Temple Grandin's done with creating the cattle tunnels before they go in for slaughter. It's the curved wall. If you're approaching a curved wall, you can't see all the way down the hallway, and so it enables you to really control the amount of information you're processing in your immediate view. And so
I love we're likening kids to cattle going to a slaughter, but I know it's totally different. I just think
only on Mondays.
I know.
Cattle not seeing the end of the line, right?
Yeah.
Curve. And they kind of took that concept, I think, I'm assuming, and applied it to a building or to hallways, and it was just fascinating to me, because when you think about it, it's you're only seeing what's in your immediate visual space. So
no, that makes sense. Yeah, my kids can be overwhelmed when there's because it's it's a huge range in a middle school of older to younger kids, and like that long hallway with like the big kids, the little kids, and all of it, and all the noise. It's just a lot for them.
The hustle and bustle.
It's a lot.
So it sounds,
I do like the cattle prod.
It sounds like you're drawing from different disciplines. Is there a certain model that you're basing your educational approach on, or are you just kind of like taking from where you see fit and innovating on the fly here?
Yes and no. I think that, there's always so much new information, and we integrate as much as we can, especially based on student need. So if there is a student who comes in who has specific needs, then as a team, we collaborate together to determine best practice. We do have specific curriculum that we use, especially for specific content areas and or levels. So we use a multi-sensory approach to our math. We use a math curriculum that is active. And then we also, our language and literacy based program is based on an Orton Gillingham approach, and it's not the kids' favorite. It's very structured, it's very monotonous, and it's very effective. So it really works well, especially for some of our students who really have some learning and literacy challenges, dyslexia, and we incorporate that, and that is consistent, and kids can graduate out of that. It's kind of all of their goal. Hurry up and get out of OG to do something more fun.
Okay.
Yeah. And, and then as we continue to move forward, just again, like Meredith said, working with the students' strengths, pulling from different resources that we can in order to create the curriculum for them and differentiate that to accommodate student needs.
Their needs. Yeah. Do you have a highlight or a success story that stands out to you from Cottonwood?
There are so many.
Like, Amy, 70 families, is that correct? I think.
As of last year, it was over 70 families. So that's increased this year. Because we have quite a few more students this year, some new faces. I have so many great stories. I want to talk about one. He is now a high school senior, and he's in the Bozeman Public Schools. When he first came to us, middle school age, and so, but a lot of trauma that came from that. He always thought he was in trouble, always, and wouldn't look us in the eye. And, just there was a lot of anxiety and a lot of impulsivity too. So we had a lot of teaching moments with this kiddo, and he was with us for 3 or 4 years, and then he moved on, and we worked really hard to transition and work with his transition team to get him into high school. And at first he was hesitant. He used to talk all the time about, well, at my old school. And then finally his last year, he was the one giving student tours, talking about how great his school was. And, going to the principal's office in school is sometimes a negative thing, but he finally realized, like, it's not bad here. Like, you want to go to the principal's office, because kids would come in and just hang out with me. And I spent more time on my floor with kids sometimes than I would actually doing the work I needed to get done. And now he looks us in the eye. He's confident. He's thriving where he is. And like I said, he's going to graduate. He actually comes back every year for our annual Winter Wonderland event, and he takes pride in his school. And I feel like that's one of my most favorite.
And he's working now. He's working up at Bridger. So I see
cool.
And it's just like, it's funny because when, any type of teacher will have this experience when you see one of your students outside of school, they're like, wait, what? You don't live at school? Like, what?
I know. Yeah. I had a student see me at Costco the other day with Joe, and Joe got to experience what that was like. They're like, Miss Borden? And they like ran down, a couple of aisles to come and give me a hug or whatever. I know. It was just like, she is a human. Yeah. What do you mean?
She actually broke up too. She eats food. What? Yeah.
I know.
One of the major challenges in education is usually funding. What is your approach at Cottonwood Day School?
Well, we do charge tuition, and our goal is to keep tuition as low as possible, just to accommodate and help as many families as we possibly can in the Valley and the surrounding areas. We fundraise. We do we're really working on getting that community involvement and community awareness right now. We have an annual fund campaign that is headed by our parents, actually, which is fantastic. They do a wonderful job. And then we do a big fundraiser event in the spring. And this year, celebrating our 10 years, we're jumping outside the box and doing something completely different. We're actually going to host a fashion show downtown Bozeman, Bozeman Event Space. We've invited 8 boutiques. They're going to come and show off their new spring lines, and we're going to celebrate them as well. We have some amazing vendors who will be with us. 406 Mobile Bar comes and supports Cottonwood Day School, donates their time for us, which is fantastic. Party People Events come and donates their awesome services. So they have DJs and actually they have a great photo booth too. They volunteer at
nice.
Our cotton fabrics only though, I'm sure, right? You gotta stick to the theme.
Like, well, if it was thematic, then they could have done wood, so maybe some bamboo.
Okay.
All right. If you're gonna make a joke that bad, I'll just add to it.
Hey, easy.
And we also, this year, we were excited to partner with Fork and Spoon, another amazing nonprofit organization here in Bozeman who, provides dinner for families, I think every night. And they're going to provide our food for us. So we're really excited about that. So it's just going to be a different type of fundraising event this year. So.
Well, that sounds like a good time. Yeah. Hopefully our listeners will be able to make it there and support your school. What are your goals going ahead as Cottonwood just continues to grow?
Yeah, I think one of Amy's big goals now that we have our high school class getting close to graduating is working through that transition piece. What does it look like for our students that are graduating? Will they be, going to colleges or a trade school or job training somewhere. And so Amy's done an incredible job networking with Gallatin College and MSU, and just getting information that we can provide to our students and their families about options. And then in fact, going out and trying to find, okay, well, this student's really interested in cooking. So where could we get this child an internship in cooking or whatever it might be? And so, and we live in an incredible community for so many reasons. But I think one of the things that Amy and I love is that whenever we go out to MSU or she goes out to Gallatin College, people are excited about what we're doing, and they want to help facilitate and work with us and our families. And so it's great. And we also live in a community where we have a college that has options for some of our students who may have larger challenges. And in fact, MSU has
got Gallatin College inside.
Yeah, and MSU has the Scholars Program, which is a completely separate diploma track for students that have cognitive or developmental disabilities and can't necessarily pursue the traditional college diploma, but want to have that college experience. And I don't know of many schools that provide that. And the fact that we have that here is amazing.
Yeah, it seems like you fill an important niche that nobody knew existed really, or until you came along.
And Amy has had work experience in Bozeman and in the school district here, and she can tell you firsthand what it was like prior to us starting this program. There weren't any other options. And so I think that's why she got so excited about, working together, because gosh, we all have, there's so many things that our community needed specifically 10 years ago that, we now are starting to gain moving forward. Right. But, 10 years ago was a much different landscape educationally.
And I think that there's a wonderful place within our community for Cottonwood, and there's so many students that would thrive in that environment. And, I see students thriving in public and private and, Montessori. And I do believe that, there's a place for each student within all these different systems. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I wish I could serve them all as a teacher, because I see the gaps, but I try to fill them as much as I can and also get some sleep at night.
Right.
All right. We've kept you long enough. That's all the questions we have. I do have a quick dumb marmot game. It's obligatory. I apologize. This one's called Day Schoolhouse Rock. Okay. Can you name these rock songs that have to do with the education system based on the descriptions that I give you?
All right.
I don't know. They say.
You guys will get it, I think. All right. Lovable Scamp Alice Cooper celebrates the end of the school year and the freedom that comes with it. What song is that?
School's Out.
Cooper.
School's Out for summer?
There we go. School's Out.
Is that the name of the song? School's Out?
School's Out. Yeah. Good. Starts off easy.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I end.
How about Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's song about the relationship between generations and the importance of good education?
Teach your children something? I don't know the title.
Close. How does the song go?
Teach your children well.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Teach your children well. 1970. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. All right, they're going to get a little harder. How about the Beach Boys anthem of school spirit and loyalty?
I know what it is, but I'll let you guys have a minute. Be true to your school, right?
Yeah, Michelle's tearing it up.
Actually, all I could get was In My Room. That was the only song that was in my head. I'm like, Beach Boys. No, wait, what? No.
That's from 1963. What'd you say, Meredith?
This is a perfect game for Amy because she is a music fiend. Like
Yeah, this
good.
is my favorite
Me
game
too.
ever, actually. Music trivia is my jam.
Oh, God. I love it.
As I was researching these, all of them were from the 60s and 70s. Like, I guess at a certain point, we just stopped as rock singers singing positive songs about the educational system.
Interesting.
Yes. We need to bring it back.
All right. This is hard. Jethro Tull reflects on the impact teachers can have on students' lives.
All I can think of is flute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Jethro Tull. I don't know.
Me either.
I know. I'm sure it's
You're
heavy
gonna
on the
say it, I'm
jazz
gonna know it,
flute.
but
This
What
one's
is
it's
it?
just called Teacher.
Oh.
okay.
From 1970. We're all gonna have to go listen to that one, I guess.
I know, right? Wait, yeah.
All right, and the last one, Pink Floyd's iconic protest song criticizing the rigid educational system in Great Britain.
I'll give it to you guys.
Another brick in the wall.
Which part?
Oh.
1 and 2.
I have just part 2 from 1979. I do think Pink Floyd would be a champion of Cottonwood Day School. I'm sure you agree.
Absolutely. Actually, our music therapist, she comes in and she teaches music to our students, and she did a song, the Cottonwood Day School theme song, and it was years ago. And it was to "We Will Rock You," and it was instead of "We Will Rock You," it was Cottonwood Day School. It was so cute, and the kids did such a good job. It was really fun.
If you have a recording of that, send it over to me, and that can sort of take us out of the episode. If that's all right with you.
I would love to hear that.
We've got it somewhere.
I'll see if I can find it. I don't know if we have one, but I'll look.
All right, re-record it. Really easy. Thank you guys for playing Day Schoolhouse Rock with me, and
we are now finally off.
More importantly, for joining us at Explore Big Sky with Maury Marmot. Best of luck. Good luck on the fashion show fundraiser.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll send you one of our flyers once we have them completed. They should be, I think they're done now. I just got to get them out. So, we'd love to come join us. And Michelle,
Joe and I, as you can tell, are slaves to fashion.
Talking about just school. If you have any other questions about our school or want to come take a tour, let me know.
Sounds good. I'll put the link in the show notes for everybody. But you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah.